International Women's Day has been observed around the world since the 1900s. It comes around again this Saturday. The Vatican will celebrate by inviting women from 6 countries to talk about how the Catholic faith has influenced their life and work. To talk about the role of women in the church and in the world, we have Mary Rice Hasson of the Ethics and Public Policy Center here in D.C., also Jeanne Monahan, president of the March for Life Fund, and a longtime advocate for marriage and family. It's so good to have both of you here.
It's a delight to be here. Thanks for having us.
Mary, here in 2014, what progress do you think we can celebrate in terms of women's equality?
I think there's many, many things. Certainly the education of women across the globe. We can see that women routinely now are achieving very high levels of education. In fact, at least in the United States, there are more women in graduate school programs in the professions than there are men. So education is certainly one, but also women's accomplishments in the professional world. You see women achieving anything they set out to do, and that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, my youngest daughter was in a class in dental school, and it was the first class at the University of Louisville where there were more women than there were men in dental school. What do you think of the gains we can celebrate?
Gosh, so much. I was thinking of the same ones Mary mentioned, but we've also just learned so much more just about women and what it means to be a woman, even if you think about her body and what we know about natural family planning and all sorts of things. I mean, we've actually just learned a lot research-wise and scientifically to understand a woman's brain and how it's different than a man's brain. I mean, we just have a lot more information about what it means to be a woman as well.
Thank God that we're not all men. I could just say that.
So, it's a nice compliment, the two.
What challenges lie ahead then?
Oh my goodness. I'm a little discouraged with some of the challenges, especially in the United States. This whole false messaging in terms of the war on women is something that I've been sort of living and breathing and sleeping lately, and I think we have to take it back. I mean, the understanding of what it means to be a woman and the dignity and vocation of a woman is profound, and not only that, it's necessary. It's necessary for a healthy and happy culture. And so I think our largest challenge right now is overcoming a misunderstanding of what it means to be a woman.
I would absolutely agree with that. And I think women themselves have lost that sense of who they are. And so we shouldn't be measuring ourselves by our utility, how useful we are, which with all the gains in employment achievement, you know, women are accomplishing so many things, but that's not really where our value lies.
And abortion is often touted as a right for women, and it's connected with this equality issue.
Well, here's the thing with that. You know, I agree with you. The whole messaging has just gotten confused. But the main thing is the feminist left really advocates the idea that equality for women means you have to have access to contraception, to abortion, as if alienating your womanhood is the way to really make gains in the world. And I think that's such a lie for women.
I completely agree, and there are so many different ways we could talk about this, but one of the things that strikes me is that this idea of abortion being a good thing for women, first of all, it's so wrong. So many women profoundly regret their abortions. It hurts them physiologically, psychologically, but there's this weird understanding that women and men, or this weird sort of idea that's been forwarded that women and men are intrinsically the same, which is a lie.
Thank God they're not.
There's something about our capacity to be mothers that does make us different. Gloria Steinem made this terrible comment over the last week about how if we didn't have our wombs, we'd be doing just fine. And basically, you know, oh, we're defined by our wombs. Well, no, we're not defined by the capacity to be a mother, but the capacity to be a mom does have a lot to do about where we find our dignity and vocation. Regardless of whether you are a mom or not, there is something that's a little more person-centric.
Well, it reminds you continually that you have room for another. And I think that's what we're called to do. Our hearts are to be for others.
Thank God.
And we're not meant to be interchangeable. And
beautiful discussion. Mary, Jeanne, we thank you for being with us tonight.